On today's 76ers Now, Brian Windhorst did not hold back when he was asked about Joel Embiid on NBA Today. And topic number 2, Daryl Morey is confident the team can re-sign Guerschon Yabusele in unrestricted free agency this offseason. Going to get to both of those topics here on today's show. But before we do, be sure to give us a follow over on Instagram. If you didn't know, now you know. We're on Instagram at 76ers Now IG, posting daily, usually twice a day on there. Daily updates, game recaps, injury news, breaking news, and a whole lot more. We'll post some of our short form content over on Instagram as well. Just surpassed 100 followers on that Instagram account. So if you're looking for more content, more ways to follow this team, be sure to give us a follow over there at 76ers Now IG. All right, let's get right into it. Starting off with Brian Windhorst, did appear on NBA Today and was asked, does Philadelphia have a Joel Embiid problem? Here's what Windy had to say. Yes, absolutely. Because I know that people would like this to be a cut and dry issue. You either need surgery or you don't. Talking about his knee injury, that's not necessarily clear here. He has seen a number of specialists. There is not a clear path on how to resolve this issue. He is not tradable right now. That contract makes his value not realistic. And just last Friday, Daryl Morey confirmed, coming out of the trade deadline, that we think he's a top 5 player and we still do not regret signing Paul George. The future going forward is all around Joel Embiid. So he's double, triple, quadruple down on it. And he really has to, because that contract makes it impossible. Talking about Morey, they have to figure out a way to get Embiid right. Trust me, they're trying. They're seeking all kinds of alternatives, trying to make it happen, but they haven't been able to do it thus far. And I don't think that Windy is way out of line when talking about the Sixers maybe having a Joel Embiid problem. And I don't think him saying that they have an Embiid problem is even a direct shot at Joel Embiid. I think it's when you factor in this injury history combined with the contract. And you can't really fault Embiid, one, for Daryl Morey giving him that big deal in the offseason. And I don't think you can fault Joel Embiid for his injury history either. Now, I know people do still try to put that on him, that his injuries is somehow his fault and that he should be playing through more stuff or he shouldn't be playing through more stuff at certain points. Look, at the end of the day, it's not on him. It just is what it is, right? He's dealing with these injuries, and the one he's dealing with right now, they simply haven't been able to figure this out. So I get where Windy is coming from. Because he's making all this money and because the Sixers have not been able to figure out a way to get Embiid healthy from this latest knee problem, that really, really hurts this organization, and it makes it hard to build a team when your best player isn't able to be out there and he's also making a ton of money. And I know there's been a good chunk of Sixers fans that have said, we want to trade Joel Embiid. Well, look, Windy even said it. His contract is pretty much untradeable because of how much money he's getting paid and because of the injury. So right now, it kind of just is what it is. This team is stuck with their current construction, with Paul George, with Tyrese Maxey, and with Joel Embiid. And there's not much they can really do other than hoping they can figure out a way to get Embiid healthy, fix his knee problems, and get him back on the floor. Because until they're able to do that, there's really no other way for this group of talent and group of players to find a way to win games. So that's what Windy had to say regarding Joel Embiid. And again, I think he's perfectly justified in saying that, and it's not a total shot at Joel Embiid. Coming up next, we're going to talk about Guerschon Yabusele. In particular, Daryl Morey feels confident that they can bring back Yabusele despite him being an unrestricted free agent this offseason. Going to get to that here on the show, but before we do, been almost a week now since the Philadelphia Eagles won Super Bowl 59. And if you have yet to get yourself some fresh gear from that Super Bowl, well, you better do it quickly because these items are hot, baby. I'm telling you, I've already got myself some gear from this Eagles Super Bowl run. Get yourself some gear as well. The most watched Super Bowl ever set a record. Can you believe that? So go to chatsports.com/EaglesSB. I'll have that link in the comments section as well as the description of this video. You can get yourself shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, but also hats, memorabilia, all different types of items that you can get yourself to celebrate this Eagles Super Bowl run. Again, that's chatsports.com/EaglesSB. Go get yourself some Eagles Super Bowl gear today. All right, here is what Daryl Morey had to say about Guerschon Yabusele, who we talked about a little bit on the show. Might be hard for them to bring back. Well, Morey said, I don't think you can ever be totally confident in an unrestricted free agent, but we feel very good. We love him. We just freed up more money with Caleb Martin's contract going out, and we've freed up more room for the future. So we feel very good right now about retaining Yabusele. And before the trade deadline, we talked about Yabu and how because he was unrestricted and because of some NBA salary rules and all these different things in the CBA, it was going to be hard for them to bring Yabusele back. But now, by trading Caleb Martin, this allows the Sixers to drop below the first apron, which they previously were not under. Now that they're under the first apron, this allows them a new avenue to try to re-sign Yabusele. If they do stay under the first apron, by the time it's ready to re-sign Yabu this offseason, this would allow them to use the $14.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Previously, they were only able to use the $5.7 million taxpayer mid-level exception, and $5.7 million would not have been enough to re-sign Guerschon Yabusele. But now they can use the $14 million non-taxpayer, which I think is much more in line with Guerschon Yabusele's value and much more competitive with what other teams might be offering him come free agency. So if they do decide to use that non-taxpayer mid-level exception, this is what a potential contract for Guerschon could look like. Now, keep in mind that when you use the mid-level exception, it can go up to 4 years. They don't have to sign him for all 4 years of this deal. That's just what is allowed under that mid-level exception. But starting at $14 million, going up to $15, $16 million by the end of the deal, I think maybe 2 to 3 years at that number, I think that's a good value for Yabusele, especially considering what he's been able to do for this Sixers team this year. I know it's been a very up and down year, mostly down for the 76ers, but Guerschon himself has been a pretty big bright spot, right? 11 points, 5.5 rebounds, 50% from the field, 40% from three on pretty good volume. Not a lot of NBA players can say that they can put up numbers like that, and it's been a great story for him in his first year back in the NBA in a very, very long time. But it also matters when thinking about re-signing Yabusele what he wants to do, and luckily for 76ers fans, it seems like Guerschon really, really likes the city of Philadelphia. Here's what Guerschon had to say exactly about this. I really love this city. I love the fans. I love the atmosphere and everything we got going on, even though the season's been up and down. I really do think we can get something going on this team. We can definitely figure it out. Not so sure about that personally. As far as right now, I'm going to try to play my best and definitely try to get the result. And as far as the summer, I feel like I have to sit down, see all the options, but knowing that Philly is here is definitely something that I'm happy and something that I am proud about. And look, Guerschon Yabusele, he is a Philly guy through and through. He was at the Eagles-Commanders NFC Championship game at the Link, just in the crowd, in the stands. I mean, look at him. You can barely even see him right there. Someone snapped a photo of him, man, and he's just there among all the people. He's a real Philly sports guy. He's really assimilated himself into this city. He was even tweeting out after the Eagles Super Bowl win stats about Jalen Hurts and how good he has been. So between the play of Guerschon Yabusele and how good he's been on the floor, the Sixers were the team that gave him his second chance in the NBA. The fans love him. He seems to love the fans in the city by all accounts. I think it makes perfect sense, especially now the Sixers have opened up this new avenue to bring him back by trading away Caleb Martin, that hopefully Guerschon Yabusele is here for the long term and can be a part of not a rebuild, but a potential retool this offseason for Philadelphia. So what say you? Do you want Guerschon Yabusele back in Philadelphia? I'm assuming I'm going to see a lot of Y for yeses, but if for some reason you don't think Guerschon should be back, type N for no, and let me know why you don't want Guerschon Yabusele back down in the comments section. That'll do it for today's 76ers Now. Another reminder to go follow us over on Instagram at 76ers Now IG. Again, we're posting usually multiple times every single day. Just a very easy way, right at your fingertips, to get Sixers content whenever you need it, and some extra injury news, game recaps that you might not always get here on the show. So give us a follow, and we'll catch you next time here on 76ers Now.